Now the question is that according to you, I mean, I also face such problem, and people also ask me that what are the three secrets you can suggest that is required for marketing and sales conversion in today's world, because we are dealing with digital marketing, we have lots of competition also, and somewhere we are also believing on personal branding. The question personal branding I will ask again, but what is the three secrets you would like to share for marketing and sales conversion?
Yeah. So you must understand that marketing is a piece of a communication with the marketplace. Yeah. So when you're looking at marketing as a piece of a communication with the marketplace, you got to understand that who is the receiver of that communication, right? One of the first things in marketing that you have to nail is a target segment that you really want to serve. And I would say the deeper you go into it, the specific you go, the better it is for you and your brand. Now, why do I say that? Once you really crack a code on your target market, in fact, in today's world, I will actually say riches are in the niches. Once you not even become a specialist, but a super specialist, that's where the money is, right? So you got to be solving a certain set of a problem for a certain set of an audience. And that is the first thing that you have to nail in your market. If you are selling to everyone and anyone, probably you are not selling to anyone as well. So what you really need to be cracking a real code on is the target market and the niche that you are after. And this is a big challenge that I see with a lot of consultant trainers, coaches. They are not very clear when it comes to their niche. Even if the niche is clear, they don't know how to position themselves in that niche. That's another challenge, right? And the second thing, which I really believe that you really need to be cracking a code on, because once you identify a target market, you will be sharing some piece of information or communication with that target market, right? So what do you need at that point of time? In fact, in my last 7 to 8 years, whatever I've invested in and trained with and learned about marketing, if I can boil it down to just one word, it's nothing but telling stories. So what is the story that you are telling to your customers is what you really, really need to crack on, which means the first is target market. The second aspect is the telling of the stories to that segment that you will be telling. And cracking a code on the stories is an ultimate game of marketing when you give. And if you look at, you probably might not remember a chemistry formula in your 8th standard that you might have studied in school, right? But you will remember the hare and the tortoise story. Why? The human brain is wired in such a way which is bound to learn via stories, right? How many of you have heard the story, what is like Pyasa Kawa? उठाए वो उसने डाले पानी ऊपर आया वो पी के चला गया, which means the moral and what is the most beautiful part of every story is there is a moral of the story is also always there with any story. Yes. So when you tell a story to the target market, there is a message in that story. And that's when the target market really receives that message packaged in a story. That's the key to be doing right in your marketing. That's the second thing that you need to crack. And third thing that you really need to be cracking in the days of today is your data. Tracking your numbers, tracking your data. And at any given point of time, you must know the numbers like the back of your hand. And that is when you really know that you have cracked a super code when it comes to being effective in your marketing. I'll repeat the three things that you got to really, really nail if you are to be effective in your marketing. First, target market and be ultra specific. The deeper you go, the narrower you go, the better it is for you. Second, telling stories. Cracking a code on your stories is the key to being effective in marketing. Third, tracking your data. Like you must obsess over yourself, where you really know your conversions like anything. Right? So you get these three broad categories right. These are the core essentials to getting right when it comes to conversions, when it comes to growth of your brand with that target market into a certain segment. That's how you go. And once you go deeper, and once you stay with that segment for a while, then you can start looking at other options and going broader and all that stuff. That's a separate part of the story. But you really need to go deep with one segment.
Got it. So, Harmeet, in these three essential secrets which you have mentioned, like target customer or target audience, and then we have the story, and then finally the data. But where the product plays a role in marketing and sales, does it have any role, or it is just you have the product, you can go and sell with the story? Is it that?
In fact, this is a very intelligent question, Akash, I must say. Product does play a role. Product does play a role. But in marketing, it's not of prime importance.
Okay.
It is of importance, but the prime importance here is how is that product marketed? That's the key here. You have to understand that the product and the marketing are a little separate. It's like the two sides of the same coin, but they're a little different from each other. That's how you should understand it. But that doesn't mean that you should bring in cheap products or low quality products. Your products must have the quality. Otherwise, what you will earn as a reputation is unchi dukan, fike pakwan. I'm very, very sure nobody would want that. You must have a good product or a service for sure, undoubtedly. But when you are promoting that product in your marketing, what you really need to be cracking a code on is the story part of it, and how well is that target audience receiving that communication. But having said that, one of the key things that I really want to tell here is when you have a good product, when customers will use it, when you have a good service, the customers will really benefit from it. Then is when they will be producing and giving an authentic testimonial, which will come from their very core. And that will ultimately breed trust. Because if the user experience of your product or service is not great, then it will not fall back into product, and that product will have a great marketing, low quality marketing. In fact, this is what I say in my programs also that I offer, that great marketing is not going to save a shitty product. In fact, it is only going to magnify it. Right? So if your product is really good, marketing is a necessity in today's world. And once you start marketing it well, then's when you will be reaping the rewards of whatever the effort that you have put into building that product.
Okay. So I think
in fact, I would like to add one more thing, one small thing to it. Nobody gets up in the morning and says that I want to buy a product or a service from Harmeet, from Akanksha, from Rakesh, from Rohit. Nobody is waking up in the morning to buy our product or service. They are in fact getting up and looking for a solution to the problem that they are facing. The only question is, can your product or your service solve that particular problem for that client? If the answer is a real and authentic yes, you are in the business.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. So, okay. So that statement, your statement get me another question, and that is, it is said that when there is no market, you can also create a market. Is it true?
Very well, yes.
Okay.
Before the iPhone was created, there was no market for iPhone. iPhone created its market.
Okay.
Before an Apple product was ever born on this planet, there was no market for Apple. So when the product came, the market also came.
Wow.
So it is rightly said that a product will also create its own demand. There is a law in economics that if you study that will say supply create its own demand. Right? So yes, to that regard, to that context, I will say it is true.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the next question is related to more of a sale, and there are many people, many trainers, many coaches, many business people, many, everybody is struggling for the conversion, to get the conversions. So what are your suggestions in terms to get the high conversions and to get people convinced?
I say stop conversions.
Okay.
This is really this is exactly what I'll say. In fact, if you really want to increase your conversions, stop pitching.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, really stop pitching. Don't pitch about your product or your service.
Okay.
That is what will really get you conversions, and good quality conversions. Now, why do I say that? if you really want to sell and you sell better, get into a relationship with a client first. Find out what are his or her requirements. Do the homework, put in the effort, understand what is it that they want. And only after you are very sure that you meet their requirements, then make an offer about your product or service. Otherwise, please stop pitching. Now, why do I say that? Recently, I had an experience over Facebook. There is somebody who reached out to me and they said, we would like to offer you this service. Would you be interested? This service is chargeable. And they were just pitching me. I have zero problems you pitching me, right? Now, once that happened, that person didn't even bother to care to find out whether do I even have a requirement of that product or service. What do you think my answer was? No, I don't need it as of now.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. If I would have needed it, I would have maybe gotten into a conversation. So, but if you build a relationship first, inquire about what's my problem, what's my suffering, do I even have a requirement for it? Who do you think I will recall even if when I have a requirement? Somebody who even cared for me to ask, do I even have a requirement of? Yes or no?
Correct.
So the only question here is, are you committed to walk that path with your clients to a degree where you are looking forward to first meet their requirements and then make an offer rather than just pitching. So my advice to anybody who is really serious about getting good quality conversions, stop pitching.
Wow. And I think being a trainer, being a coach, we have been trained like you have to pitch. You have to pitch, right? So what your advice is extremely opposite. So thanks for giving this advice, because I feel that yes, relationship makes much better conversions rather than to have just pitching and getting out of it. Yeah. So
Akanksha, I have a very high degree product. Will you want to buy it? This product is only worth 5 lakhs. What would be your response? I didn't even bother to care and ask for what's your requirement.
exactly.
Would you be interested? Can that product even solve that? You are not here to give me 5 lakhs immediately. Yes.
Correct. I agree.
So can I be sensible enough to find out what's your requirement? And is that even a problem for you? And then only make my offer. I can tell you the marketplace is literally flooded with people who just are wanting to pitch.
And we can see, everybody can see the same thing happening in Facebook, same thing happening in Google, YouTube, everywhere. They are just pitching and, so that's the loss, right? I can understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I would actually say select your customers that you really want to work with.
Exactly.
I'll even go a little 1 degree higher to that note. And only the people that you really want to work with, people who have the skin in the game, that's the kind of people that you should be looking forward to working with and producing a result for, rather than serving anybody and just anyone and everyone. That's why cracking code on your target market is the key to being really successful when it comes to conversions.
Got it. Wow, that's amazing. And nobody would say, like, marketing and sales expert would never say that do not pitch. So thanks for giving this advice. It's really work. I feel that it's going to work because it's talk about the emotions and relationship. Yes, thank you.